Hey, Shalom Yahweh Shem Yahushai Barakathon to all the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shamar Latub Shem Yahushai to all the sisters. This is the ISUPK, started 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. This is the Tuesday Brotherhood class out here in Las Vegas. You understand? And today's topic that we'll be going over is color in the Bible. All right. So basically, we're going to touch on, the color of, what the Most High is according to the Bible, not what you see. Not what you see in them Christian churches, right? We're going to be going over what even some of the appearances are of the angels. And of course, we talked about what we, about the Most High God, the pictures that they try to put up in the churches of the Most High God. But let's not forget about our King, Yahweh Mashiach, in the Hebrew or Jesus Christ in the English, right? We'll go over, what they all look like according to the Bible. All right. These are not going to be descriptions, notes, or anything else that Officer Rock had, compiled together himself. This isn't something that, that came from my imagination. You understand? What we'll be going over is what comes straight out of the greatest book on the face of this planet Earth. You understand? Which is the Bible. You understand? And of course, just like always, we'll be going over. It's like tongue got a little bit tied up. We'll be using the King James 1611 version. All right. Reason why I'm even bringing that out, what version we're using, just because of the simple fact that, a lot of these Christian churches, what I've noticed is they like to bounce around between different versions of the Bible to fit their doctrine, right? So, they'll use King James Version when they want to tell you about the law. You understand? Telling you about the law of pay your tithes, because that's easy to break down. You understand? But then when we start to talk about, loving your neighbor and how, you just need to love, God loves everybody and just everyone is going to heaven and heaven is falling onto the face of the earth. And this, that, and the other. They'll jump around to the NIV and New King James and this, that, and the other. You understand? From the ISUPK, we stick strictly to the King James 1611 version. You understand? That is the only authorized version to use when breaking down the Bible in English. You understand? All right. Before we get started, just like in every class and anytime that you see an ISUPK class, I'm going to just ask that y'all make sure that y'all like and share the class. You understand? Do your part to get this word pushed out to the four corners of the earth. You understand? Because somewhere out there, somebody might be on your timeline, on your news feed, your friends list, what have you, that is, looking to change their life around for the better. You understand? That is a so-called Black, Hispanic, or First Nation man or woman. And quite frankly, the only way for a so-called Black, Hispanic, First Nation man or woman to actually change their lives around is by learning the truth of who they are according to the Bible and coming back to these law, statutes, commandments. You understand? By following the law, statutes, and commandments set by the Most High God. And quite frankly, that can only be found here in the ISUPK. You understand? So that's why these classes are super important. You understand? To make sure that we all do our part on, spreading these classes out to the four corners of the earth. And that's not just my classes. That's anything ISUPK related. You understand? Because pretty much anything, anything and everything that has ISUPK on it is for the betterment of so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women. You understand? just asking that y'all do y'all part. Make sure that you like and share. In the meantime, I'm doing it myself, and then we'll get into the class. Also, if there's anybody that is online that has any questions, feel free to type them up in the chat. Questions are always encouraged. This is not the Christian church. You understand? Where we're gonna try to, dodge your question by saying, pray about it, and the Lord will just reveal it unto you in His time for you to have that answer. You understand? We actually welcome questions in the ISUPK. We are here to edify our people like the Most High God had commanded His priests and prophets to do so in the first place. You understand? And with that said, if any of y'all do ask a question and I'm unable to answer it myself scripturally, I'll make sure that I write down your question and ask a mightier man than myself to get the answer for your question. Point to that being is that the answer, your question can be answered. You understand? I may not just have the knowledge myself. Somebody above me, while they're above me, may have to get. I may have to get the answer for them. So we come to that point. We'll just be sure to bring it out in the next class that I teach. The following Tuesday, or we'll bring it out in the Thursday scripture breakdown class with Officer 5000 Shabal. You understand? So, without further ado, let's get into the class. I don't see that there's any questions online. So let's go ahead and start getting into the class. Oh, wait, actually, hold on, let me do this real quick. I guess I didn't fully share it all the way, so I can give me one moment. Give me one moment. Here is all right. All right. So we'll be starting off at. I see there's no more. There is no questions. Salakia. We will be starting off at is the book of Daniel, chapter 10, verse 5. All right, so that's going to be the book of Daniel, chapter 10 and verse 5. Let me just get to my notes again. Let me switch off of it. All right. Hey, Lord Christ, young man, John, it's good to see you in the class, man. It's good to see you. All right. So we're going to start off at the book of John, chapter 10, verse 5. Then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold. And slaggy, I'm not the best reader. I believe the word is Uphaz. Slaggy, moving on. Verse 6. His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass, and the voice of his words like the multitude of a multitude. You understand? This right here is Daniel. This right here is Daniel seeing Yahushua. You understand? He's seeing Christ right here in his vision. You understand? Now, what's so significant about that is let's go back to where it gave the color of his feet. You understand? Which is, actually mentioned later on in the book of Revelations as well. You understand? So where it says in verse 6, in his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like in color to polished brass. So if y'all look up or just know what the color of polished brass looks like, It's got this, it's got like a golden bronze color too. Okay. Now the thing about that is when have you ever seen a picture of white Jesus where he looked golden brown, like a golden bronze, where he looked at even a golden brown color? You know what I'm saying? When did white Jesus ever look brown? In fact, we wouldn't even be calling him white Jesus if he didn't look anything but white. You understand? But right here, what Daniel is seeing is a black man. You understand? And we're gonna get more out of Daniel as well, because Daniel also gives you another description, right? In the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 9. All right. The book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure, did I say that right? And the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. All right. So what did that just say right there? What description did we just read out of the Bible about the Most High, about Christ? You understand? Now, mind you as well, do y'all really think that the Most High God would form his only begotten son to look different than him? Think about that. So when we're able to see descriptions about Yahweh Shai Mashiach, right? When we can see descriptions about Christ, whom of which is the Most High God's only begotten son. And mind you, this is the book of Daniel, which means it's in the Old Testament, right? We'll get into the New Testament descriptions in a bit. But why would the Most High God want his son to look completely different from himself? You understand? Where we just read that he's got a head full of pure woolly hair. You understand? Woolly hair. Who else has, and mind you, oh yeah, it was like pure wool, right? Mind you, who has woolly hair on the face of this earth? I'll give y'all, we'll wait a second for the first, Christian to get on and talk about, white Jesus has woolly hair. When that flaming homosexual, murderer, incest lover, did I already say homosexual? Has got stringy hair. You understand? You understand? That Christ does not have. That's not even a Christ. That man, Caesar Borgia, does not have woolly hair. He has woolly hair, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women. You understand? That's who have woolly hair. Primarily being the tribe of Judah, the so-called Negroes. Really got woolly hair. I'm just a freak accident, man. Genetics is just, they fun to play with. That's what I like to tell people. I just live this way. You understand? But you look at my father, and he got woolly hair when he let it grow out. He always got that fresh cut and whatnot, liners, whatnot. He in the world. He don't know no better. Lord allow one day. But you understand? Our people have woolly hair. Which that lets you know that if Christ has woolly hair, right? Like the question I just posed to y'all earlier about what father, period, let alone the Most High God, what father would want their only begotten son to not look like him? You understand? So that in itself, when you just read the book of Daniel, just those two verses, right? Well, technically three.
Daniel 10:5 and 6, and then Daniel 7 and 9. That right there, we should be able just to, close up the book, in class, because y'all should be able to have the understanding right there that, the white Jesus and the white God and, just all that nonsense that y'all see in the Christian churches about the fact that, first of all, that the real God of the Bible is not a black man, or that the real God of the Bible is a black man. I mean, we should, the class should be, we should be able to end the class right in right here. You understand? We should be able to end it right here, because you can't get no more plain than that. That the God of the Bible is a black man, that Christ is a black man, and then you take it even a step further, just the simplicity of all of God's chosen people. Well, God's chosen people are the so-called Negroes, and this is the the primary description that we have. Now, mind you, I said primary. You understand? We're gonna drop that. Now we're gonna go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1. Actually, before we go there, we're gonna go to the book of Revelation, chapter 1. We're gonna go to Revelations 1 and 13. All right. For some reason, I don't have that in my notes, unless I'm just skimming past it. And I just means we'll just read it twice today in class, because you know what the thing is a lot of these classes that we have is very important for to rewatch these classes, even for us teachers, priests, and prophets to reteach these classes, because we need to instill in our people the greatness in our color, the greatness in our hair, the greatness in who we are, because quite frankly, it's been painted over by our oppressors. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, hell, they even have a so-called Asian variation of Christ. Y'all know that? Like Christ can't just be one man. They made it. Who is it that says it? Oh, well, that's your truth, or however it goes. I think I want to say them Egyptologists be saying that nonsense. Like, oh, okay, well, you're just living your truth. You understand? Like, that's basically the part of the propaganda that they're trying to push with our Bible, with our God, with our Messiah, with our King. You understand? Where your Christ can look any type of way, because that's your truth. He can be Asian, Arab. No, that is not the truth of the doggone Bible. You understand? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1, and verse, I said 13. We're going to go to verse 14. So like it. The book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow. So again, and mind you, this is the revelation of Yahushua Mashiach. His appearance is being revealed. His physical appearance is being revealed. At this point, it's like it is no longer a vision that Daniel was having. John is writing about, this is the appearance that Christ had, right? It's like the white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. Verse 15. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burn in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. So, I mean, that was pretty much the same exact description that we just had in the book of Daniel, chapter 10, verse 5 and 6, right? Now, we just read it again in the book of Revelation. Now, I don't know of a single Christian, Catholic, any type of denomination that disregards the book of Revelation. Everybody agrees that Revelation has to be interpreted, taken into consideration. I can't think of the actual word I want to use, but the book of Revelation is of importance. There is nobody that denies that, right? So With that said, the crazy thing is our oppressor. Everybody denies the actual appearance of what Christ looks like. I mean, y'all can have fun with that whole, well, that's your truth, but let's deal with the truth of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, who this man is and what he looks like, who he was for as well, right? It's likely, y'all. Y'all do gotta bear with me. You know, the West Coast is on we in the middle of a heat wave right now. It's mighty Joe hot up in here, man. It's ridiculous. It's likely. But you understand? Christ looks like his father. Christ looks like that same description that was put in the book of Daniel, which is a black man. All right. If there was no significance of color, which, we know who likes to say that, which one of our oppressors likes to say that color doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter, then why change the description? We're reading the very first chapter of the book of Revelation that we all know that every denomination recognizes and deems it to some level of importance, if not the utmost importance. Because historians are trying to properly break down the book of Revelations. Historians and priests, and like when I say priests, I mean the fake priests, like Catholic priests and whatnot. They're all trying to break down the book of Revelations to actually understand. But I mean, hell, they can't even understand what Christ looks like. You understand? And mind you, then it's the same people. When we in the world as a Christian, as a Catholic, that's who we're going to help teach us this Bible. When they can't even teach us the proper appearance and description of Christ as you worshiping and revering a homosexual and a murderer, a liar and a thief by the name of Caesar Borgia. See, in the ISUPK, you'll learn who that so-called white man that everybody tries to say is Jesus. You'll learn who that is in our classes, in the ISUPK classes, because we teach the truth. In fact, we actually teach. That's why we begin every class with, are there any questions? Let's get to the questions. Post your questions online. We'll get to them when we can, and we'll answer them to the best of our ability scripturally. You understand? Because that is what we are here for in the ISUPK, is to actually edify our people, to erase all of that BS nonsense that we've been indoctrinated with, that the so-called white man is better than us, that we can't even be a great people on the face of this earth unless the so-called white man says so. Take, for example, right, the Book of Mormon. The Book of Mormon, they basically said that the reason why there are black people, and I'm just paraphrasing it, just giving you a quick little breakdown of what the story says, but basically the reason why there are black people on the face of the earth is because those are the people, angels, that did not align themselves with the Most High God during the, I don't know what you would even call it, the angelic war between Lucifer and his angels and the Most High God and his angels that were still loyal to him, because technically they're all his angels. That whole angelic war is just nonsense in the first place, right? But that's for a discussion for another class. If anybody wants to do a breakdown on a class like that, post it in the chat and I'll put something together, right? But so they tried to say that, black people are black because, it's basically a mark to say that you went against God. Now, if y'all actually know the story of Cain and Abel, it just sounds like the Mormons is flipping the story of Cain and Abel and putting it on black people. Because wasn't Cain given that red mark? Who else has a red mark on the face of the earth? Who else looks red? Technically, by definition, They are not white people. They are red folk, redskins, right? Who else, if you made, let me think how I want to word this. Who else can be picked out to be different from all the other nations if it is not the so-called white man? When you just line them up and you were to look at their skin colors, right? And I'm saying when you're dealing with all the shades of each nation, you know what I'm saying? Where you got, the team bright skin all the way up to the team dark skin when you're dealing with, the so-called Negroes. I'm the CEO, co-founder with Officer Parak out there in Arizona, of Team Bright Skin. You understand? Might have to pass that mantle over to Captain Katazai because he wasn't in school first, so I did. But, Team Bright Skin, well, wait, no, he's Ephraim. I gotta take that back. He's Ephraim. We Judah. So we can actually hold on to that mantle. But you understand? We all, we can look as bright as myself, all the way to as dark as, hell, you got some brothers that's dark. Let's just say that. All right. And you got the same doggone thing with the so-called Mexicans, the so-called, all the other nations. But then when you get to white folk, the so-called white man, right? The people who are actually red skinned, right? You would have put them, all the shades of their people. The only way that you would have some of their people look like, our Judite brothers, or actually look like the so-called Africans, you understand, is if their mother was, had slept with or their mother was a so-called black woman or was a so-called Hamite. Somebody, take for example, prime example is Bob Marley. Man, Bob Marley, his whole family line on his daddy's side ain't got an ounce of color or melanin in them. You understand? Up until Bob Marley's father, I can't think of what his name was. I did a TikTok on it a couple months ago. But up until his father had slept with his mother. Because like what they say, you can get white from black, but you cannot get black from white. You understand? In other words, white can come, a white baby can come out of two, a brother and a sister, or a black man and a black woman having a child together. It's actually happened. It's happened even biblically. You understand? If you don't believe me, go to the book of Genesis, chapter 25. Read that book right there. You'll see it. It was two twins. One of them came out black. The other one came out white. All right? And that's not the last time, nor is it the first time that something like that has happened. You understand? Point is their people do not look like anybody else on the face of the earth. Right? That's why when Cain got cursed with the mark of Cain, he played with the Lord. It was like, man, now if I go into the cities, everybody's going to know that I'm cursed. Everybody's going to know what I've done because everybody will be able to see it on me, on that curse of me. And they will kill me for it because I am a murderer. Paraphrasing, of course. So with that being said, I never seen a white Indian dude. Believe it or not, having these pale-skinned Japanese and Chinese, it's actually fairly recent. You understand? It wasn't always that way. You understand? I pray that y'all do. Or else you're going to continue to believe in that, basically that Mormon propaganda, where they make you believe that being a black man, being a black woman is a curse. Being a black or brown, man or a woman is a curse. You understand? It is a curse. And that is not the truth. Because like we are already starting to read, man, our king in the Bible, Yahushua Mashiach in the Hebrew, or Jesus Christ in the English, man, he's a black man. Most High God is a black man. And we're about to read about an angel. You understand? So we're going to drop that. We're going to go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1 and verse 5. All right, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 5. Also, out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures. And this was their appearance. Mind you, keyword, this is their appearance. Appearance. You understand? I'll break down the appearance. Right? Because, mind you, what do you see in the Catholic churches? What do you see in the Christian churches when they try to tell you what an angel looks like? You know, naked white babies because they into pedophilia, right? You know, it's always naked white babies and just, you know, and white men in dresses. You understand? They had the likeness of a man, and everyone had 4 faces, and everyone had 4 wings. Verse 7, and their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. So again, this is what can't post comments. Please send me some destination. Oh, okay, that's fine. Hey, shalom of the Christ, sis. It's good to see you. Both of you sisters from Texas and Arizona, Most High Christ. Good to see y'all in the class. All right. So what should stand out from what we had just read, right? Like it said, man, they were sparkling like the color of burnished brass. See, I know, I'm pretty sure the phone camera won't be able to see this. Let's get an actual, maybe I can describe it for y'all, unless y'all just, whatchamacallit. Oh yeah, same exact thing. It's polished brass. It basically looks like polished brass. That golden brown kind of color, a little bit more brown to it. That's what burnished brass looks like. You understand? Even the angels look like the same color. They have the same color of Yahweh Shai Mashiach and the Most High God. You understand? Even the angels. So then my question for, and Lord allow there is actually a so-called Christian in watching this live feed, right? My question for y'all is where the hell did you come up with these white naked babies? Now I understand that, you know, white man is a pedophile, and for whatever reason you know, if you're a Christian and you're a Christian church goer, you like to follow pedophiles and adulterers and, you know, this people that aren't really about the Bible, but love to talk about how they are, right? Can you please answer me where the naked babies even came from? Right? Can anybody tell me the history of where naked babies come from? I know it's supposed to be a symbology for the innocence, right? The angels have some sort of innocence. That's why it's a baby. But why has it got to be naked? That's what I want to do. And why is it that Christians want to try to pacify the angels so doggone much? I mean, an innocent angel? I feel like a lot of y'all don't even realize what most of these angels will do. If the Most High God commands them to do anything, they're going to do it. There will be nothing else done aside from Kanawan and the job getting done. That's it. It'll be a Kanawan and then followed up with the job being completed and then a report of the job being completed. You understand? The angels are not like us, where they can have a rebellion. All right, that's Christian BS. You understand? That's propaganda to basically get Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women to be more comfortable with rebelling against our God. Because you know what? When you think that, oh, well, even the angels have done it, and some level of them are getting forgiveness and this, that, and the other, an angel's supposed to be greater than me, so why not? Why not, why not YOLO and live my best life? And I only live once, and all that other shenanigans that y'all be coming up with and following from these stupid ass rappers and celebrities. Hell, and mind you as well, the doggone Christian pastors is teaching the same nonsense in the freaking churches. Got y'all watching, man, that was crazy. Got y'all watching and recording a married couple having sex in the middle of the church not ceremony, what is it called? What do y'all call it? Church y'all can't call it a class. Your church gathering. Your cult gathering. That's what your paganistic church gathering. That sounds about more accurate. Right? Because now he sat there and watched them have sex. With or without a doggone blanket covering it doesn't matter. Because you know what the scripture actually says? When you have sex, you are unclean until the evening. And you have to wash. So if you're unclean, you're not even supposed to be amongst the holy congregation. You understand? So in other words, if you have sex, right, and you are trying to, you're trying to go physically in class, you cannot do that unless you wash and wait until the evening, which, or in other words, the sun sets. Once the sun sets and you've washed, that little funk on you, that little fluids and whatnot off of you, according to the scriptures, you are unclean until then. You understand? And they had sex in the middle of their paganistic ceremony. You understand? Says Facebook user, Shalom. I see you. I don't see you. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I see your Shalom. What a Christ. All right. And these are the things that they teaching y'all in the Christian church. And I'm bringing up like these just little random things here and there and pulling them in because at the end of the day, it all follows under the same category. That being the fact that the Christian and the Catholic churches have completely tainted and changed our entire Bible, our entire culture. You understand? Our entire history to benefit our oppressors. And when it benefits our oppressors, what does it do for Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women? It furthers us into our oppression. Our oppression becomes that much more severe because now you've forgotten who you are that much more. You understand? You don't know who you are. You don't know who you are so much that you don't even know to stand up for yourself. You don't even know to separate from them. You don't even understand that when you partake in their voting, when you partake in their gay parades and nonviolence and all that other nonsense that they get us caught up in. You understand? It furthers you away more and more from who you truly are. You understand? What I mean by that is the simple fact that you are a great people, Black, Hispanic, and First Nation man and woman. We're a great people. And the only way that they keep you from being a great people is getting you caught up in their mess, getting you caught up in their customs, getting you caught up in their ways. Hey, they sprinkle their ways, their customs, their words on our culture, on our history, on our ways. You understand? That's why it's important for us to separate. That is why it's important for us to come into the ISUPK and the Command General Yohana and learn who we really are. Relearn the Bible. Relearn the history of our people. You understand? Relearn Admiral Hill. Then you might have to relearn freaking math. We got Officer 5000 on burn. I'm not even sure where exactly he's actually at. I believe he bounces back between Canada and New York. And I'm only saying that just off the strength of like the brother is over damn near. Canada, Brazil. I believe South America is, is owned by him. I believe he owns it. You know, the brother damn near what? I believe they said that he learned Portuguese in like 10 days or something like that, so that he could take over Brazil. It's crazy. It's a lot. You know, that's a powerful brother right there. That's what that comes down to. But you understand? These priests and prophets in the ISUPK will teach you what you need to know. All right. Oh, and, you know, Officer Obama, I mean, it's lucky. Like, the brother is just he's a freaking genius. I believe he studied in some sort of physics. I think he went to MIT, if I'm not, you know, don't quote me on it, but I think he is a freaking genius like that. It's lucky. Hey, Shalom, little Christ, sis. It's good to see you in the class, sis. Most High Christ. All right. The point is, though, it's in the ISUPK, man, we will relearn you everything that needs to be relearned. Hell, including math. Because we might have to relearn how to do math, especially with the new, what is it called, curriculum that they got going on in these schools, trying to teach kids how to redo how they freaking count math. I remember, you know, my son a couple of weeks ago, he tried to give me his homework, his math homework. And he was trying to tell me, he said, no, my teacher said that we got to do our math like this. I said, listen here. If your teacher wants to send you home with homework and wants me to help you with it, we're doing your homework the math way. 5 plus 5 is like this. You take 5 freaking fingers on each hand and you put them together and that's it. We're not doing all this splitting and grouping and extra nonsense. We're not doing it. It's a lot. We're not doing it. And in fact, if you do it my way at school, I got your back. You understand? I'll talk to your teacher if she makes that into an issue. Because math is freaking math. It's a lot. They want to change everything, just like how they want to change all of our history. They want to change everything about us. So that's why I'm saying it is important for Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women to get in these classes to learn under commanding John Yahana and his ordained priests and prophets. You understand? Oh yeah, I'm not sure who's saying it because it's still coming up as Facebook user. But yeah, you know, math is mad. Like if y'all seen The Incredibles 2 when Mr. Incredible, you know, he got mad trying to help his son Dash. And I felt this pain a couple weeks ago when I was helping my son. Man, math is math. What the hell is anything else? Like, how else do you add numbers together? Multiply, subtract, divide. Man, no. Math is math. You understand? Get your tails in class and learn correct math, correct history, the correct culture, the whole shebang. All right? We're going to get off of that. Now we're going to go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 2. All right? The book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, and verse 2. Yeah, kind of, you know, there's a couple other sisters too that is being funky like that as well, sis. Where they'll come and check in. They'll say their names too sometimes, but then when you know they make the little comments and whatnot, just says Facebook user. So if I call you brother or anything like that, or don't refer to your sister at all, don't be offended. Bubble shot. It's just I can't, you know, it comes up just as Facebook user. All right, so we're dropping that. We're going to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 14 and verse 2. All right. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 2. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. All right. So we're going to break that down, right? Because, of course, the main topic today is just colored in the Bible. It's just this spelling, that whole just whitewashing that our oppressors have done with our Bible in the churches. You understand? We're dispelling all of that. All right? So it says, Judah mourneth. Judah today is the so-called Negroes. All right. As the so-called Negroes, and they're mourning, right? And the gates thereof languish. The gates thereof languish. Let's look at the word languish. All right, we'll get a full breakdown of the meaning of this this verse, right? The book language of a person or other living thing lose or lack vitality, grow weak or feeble, right? So in other words, our gates are becoming weaker. All right, they are black unto the ground. Now the gates, it's the gates to our gates that hold us strong, our stronghold. You understand? Us together is a stronghold, but all of that is being broken down. It's becoming weakened. And if you look at why, it's because hell, we're allowing our oppressors to teach us our culture. We're deciding to align ourselves and love the other nations more than we want to align and love our own people. You understand? We are choosing their ways over our own ways, and because of that, now we're being compromised. You understand? Our gates are being compromised. They're becoming weakened because of that. Because now, y'all heard the story of the Trojan horse, but it's a little bit different. It's the Trojan horse, but we're saying, no, okay, come on, bring the Trojan horse in. Bring the snakes in. Fill it. It's like, actually stay at the gate, fill it up with as many oppressors as you can, as many different cultures and just pagan, just nonsense, anything that goes against the Most High God, fill it up until it is just leaking out of the Trojan horse. And then you can come in. And then you can empty it out, and then you can take it back and go fill it up with some more. Like, that's basically what Judah, that's what we as Israel have been doing, because we are making the choice to love the other nations. We're making the choice to take on their ways and to do their ways. You understand? Witchcraft or drugs, being a drug dealer, being even taking drugs, which is all witchcraft, man, that is not our ways. That is not our custom. For those of y'all that actually know what the law says in any regards, the law says that it is against the Most High God to be into witchcraft. You understand? In fact, they need to be put to death. So the fact that we continue to be drug dealers and take those drugs ourselves lets you know that, hey man, now y'all want to get in with the Trojan horse? Okay, cool. We put a little bow on it and whatnot, jam pack it with all the cocaine, all the weed, all the heroin, all the homosexuality, all the whatever it is that you want me to partake in, jam pack it and then bring it in and to just make sure that you re-up so that I can flip that as well. You understand? They are black unto the ground. Man, we are black unto the ground. Just like we are black like the burnt ground, because you know what? Those gates are being, what is the best way to weaken a gate? Goddamn, you light it up on fire. Because even if you take what's it called? Something it's a ramming pole or something like that to the gates, right? The gate still holds a whole lot of integrity even after you ram through the gate. You understand? Even after you ram through that gate and the gate, splits apart a little bit, right? You can even reinforce it after, it shatters a bit. You understand? And rebuild in time after, the ramming is done. You understand? But what is the best way to actually weaken a gate? You light that doggone thing on fire. So when you light that gate up on fire, what's going to happen to the ground? The ground is going to turn black as well. And as we're allowing these people to basically burn in our hell, allowing these people to burn us in our hell with the Trojan horse being, the drugs and the alcoholism and the homosexuality, the adultery, et cetera, man, it's pretty much the equivalent of, but it's burning our gates. And so we are as black as that ground. You understand? That's a twofold right there. That Judah is literally as black as the ground, and we're also being burnt down to the ground. You understand? In this verse. You understand? And the cry of Jerusalem is gone up, man. Of course, our cries for the Most High God to help us is going up. You understand? And the Lord isn't going to turn his face against our voices, against our cries for too much longer. He's just basically waiting to make it simple, our cries to be loud enough for it to actually, for him to pay attention to it. Because once we're loud enough, that lets him know that enough of us have come back to, the ways that we were supposed to be. You understand? Well, we don't sit here and believe that the greatest men to ever walk on the face of the earth, the greatest men that were written, the great men that were written, that wrote this Bible and were written about in this Bible for anything but our own people. You understand? When we stop worshiping these other nations, when we stop worshiping our oppressors. Hey, Shalom with Christ, Trooper Halak, it's good to see you, right? You understand? All right. Now we're going to drop that. Now we're going to go to the Song of Solomon. I was having a hard time finding this one, so y'all bear with me. Actually, we'll just do it off my phone. We're going to go to the book of the Song of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 5. Song of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 5. All right. Now look, this is Solomon. All right, this is Solomon talking about himself right here. All right. I am black. Now hold on. I can't even finish that whole verse. We got to talk about this now, because I don't know about y'all, but I had seen that little Netflix special. I know I was in the Army at the time because I watched it with Officer Ayathan back in North Carolina when we were both in East South military together. And it was like we was just learning about the truth. And the show talked about King David, Moses, Christ, Samson, Solomon, and a couple others, right, out of the Bible. I believe Joshua was on there as well. But there was only one black person in all of them, and that was Samson. That was it. I feel like the only reason why they allowed it to be Samson was because they was trying to push that propaganda that what a lock is dreadlocks, not knowing that it's just a 3-twist braid. That's a lock, right? But, I mean, y'all know that. Black, Hispanic, First Nation men and women, you know that, right? But other than that, everybody else was white. So this is my question, right? How did King David go from being white and then Solomon now is black? Now, according to the Bible right here, King Solomon is a black man. But I'm saying, according to Hollywood, according to what we watched, that Netflix special. And the only reason why it was special is because it was so often retarded. How did you go from one to the other? It's the same thing as what I just said about, with Samson's locks. Them trying to have propaganda for dreadlocks. You understand? You have, and again, I can't stress this enough. This is why it is so important for so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women to get in these classes, to learn the truth. You understand? To learn the truth of this world, period. Or else you're just going to be constantly fed this nonsense lies. And then you just gonna sound ultimately, when it comes down to it, I believe that everybody that is not in the ISUPK, they just sound goofy with the things, that they believe in. It might be true. Some of the things, they might actually say some facts, right? Like take for example, all right. I was on a Clubhouse not too long ago, and these two brothers was having this debate about the distance of, I think he said Mars to the sun, where if you Google it, what NASA tells you versus like the new text or the old text. So I don't fully remember what it was. The point is that you're being lied to. He was trying to make the point that you're being lied to about what the distance is from Mars to the sun versus what it actually is, right? Now, what my point with this is, right, is first of all, who cares? Who cares? What difference does it make? I had already anticipated that they was lying, all left and right about, outer space in the first place. Because it makes no sense that y'all haven't been to the moon, back to the moon since, what was it, the last one, the 70s, 80s, right? And y'all just trying to say that the technology has been lost. Doesn't make sense. I feel like they're doing covert, ops to the freaking moon. Like, it don't make sense to me, right? But who cares? When we're trying to get ourselves right, and so which requires me to get familiar and study this Bible, why the hell would I care about the distance between Mars and the sun, or the distance between Earth and the moon, or these planets, period? Why does that matter? But yet, when you're not learning the truth, things like that to you will matter. And now when you sit there try to talk about it, try to sound smart, like, oh, okay, like you might be able to convince me, like, okay, so you know what? The distance actually is 8 million miles instead of what it was previously at 14 million miles or whatever it was, right? I'd be able to convince, okay, you know what? Yeah, I can see how it could actually be 8 million miles. So you convinced me, cool, but I'm still gonna be looking at you like, nigga, that's goofy as hell. Who cares? What does the distance of Mars to the sun have to do with the poverty of Blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women? Is that gonna solve the water crisis that's going on in Mississippi that I feel like it's hardly even being talked about? I've got all this news feed that comes onto my phone about Ukraine, Russia, China, Taiwan. America is constantly sending a new package of billions and trillions of dollars, but yet can't help Mississippi, let alone has there really been any type of coverage on what's going on in Mississippi. You know how I found out about the water crisis in Mississippi? It's Commander Jerry Hanna. You understand? I found out about something terrible that was happening to my people from commanding Jerry Hanna. And that should let y'all know something. You understand? And mind you, like, because I got, let's see, I think I only got maybe 3. I think I got 3 or 4 different apps. Let's see. 1, 2. Okay, so I've got 3 different apps on my phone to, all of them just pull just pull in news and give me, notifications. I get notifications all throughout the middle of the night, all day, like it's around the clock. Like I wake up, check my phone, try to make myself feel popular and think that, I got buku text messages, but it's just buku, notifications from smart news and crap. You understand? From all my little news apps. You understand? About everything that's going on in this world, except for what's happening in Mississippi. I've known about the damn the earthquakes that's been happening in China that's killed, I think it's 9 people, or was it 19 people, something like that. But I didn't know about the issue in Mississippi. You understand? I pray that y'all do. I pray that y'all do. And I know I like hella sidetrack right there. Right? But getting back onto it. Okay. Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5. I am black. Man, so much for what they try to put on, in Hollywood, with everybody being white in the doggone, in the Bible, in their movies and whatnot. Right here, Solomon said, I am black, but comely. Comely meaning beautiful. King Solomon said, man, I am black, but I'm beautiful. I'm black and beautiful. You understand? That's what he said. Like what Booby Miles used to say in Friday Night Lights. Booby is beautiful. That's what Solomon said. Solomon is black and beautiful. You understand? O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. You understand? He's also, man, the daughters of Jerusalem are black. You understand? His people are black and beautiful. You understand? The daughters of Jerusalem are black and beautiful. You understand? This should let y'all know something, that the nonsense that y'all watching or that y'all seeing in these Christian and Catholic churches, man, they feeding y'all nothing but lies. And it's destroying your mind. It is, even as an adult, y'all do realize that subliminal, I hate this damn word. It's such a not a tongue twister, a mumble word, I should say. Even as an adult, subliminal hidden messages in movies and shows and the things that you read and in the entertainment, all of that, right? The things that you see, the hidden messages, the hidden pictures, the hidden words. And just because you're an adult does not keep you from falling victim to the what's the word? We're already past that. Falling victim to, how I want to put it, the brainwashing. We'll go with that. The brainwashing that those hidden messages are supposed to be, brainwashing you with. Like take for example, if you sit there and watch enough, let's see, I believe they made Bert and Ernie. I heard that they made them homosexuals on Sesame Street. You watch that enough, you keep on watching that. Eventually, you're just you'll get more and more numb to seeing homosexuals. That's why they're putting it in all the TV shows and the movies. It's to make you numb to it. You understand? When you become numb to seeing it, now they can work on the next step, the next step to get you curious about it. That's like that kind of hurt coming up. It's like to get you curious about it. All right? That's all part of their wicked planning they have against us, blacks, Hispanics, and First Nation men and women. You understand? Because ultimately they want us to go against the Most High God. And it all starts with you not knowing who you are, or even what the greatest people on the face of the earth even look like. If you don't know that, stripping your identity is nothing. It's nothing. It's simple. And they're making it look simple because they've been doing it to us. They've made it seem like it's more simple to strip our identity than it is for us to actually get our identity back. Because mind you as well, let you go ahead and go on the street and tell people that you a Hebrew Israelite, that you are God's chosen people. Man, why do you think that when we are in our classes and we tell y'all that we risk our lives every weekend when we go and do camp? Because that's what we're doing, and they don't like to hear that. Even our own people don't like hearing that they're the greatest people on the face of the earth. They want to. Some of them want to go to blows because of it. They want to go to blows because of the truth. They don't. They just can't handle the truth. You understand? I pray that you do. I pray that you do. Because if you do understand, man, you'll get your ass in class and stay in class. All right. So again, King Solomon is black. King Solomon himself is black. But you know that his daddy, King David, was black. All right. And what seed did Yahweh Shai Mashiach come from? The seed of David. So isn't it safe to say that according to the book of Numbers, chapter 1, verse 18, that we would be called by the seed of our fathers? So isn't it safe to say, even without reading the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verses 14 through 15, that Christ is a black man? Man, learning is fun. Learning is good and learning is fun, eh? We've only had class for 60 minutes. I've only gone through what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is my fault. I've been doing a lot of sidetracking. It's a lot. But I guarantee y'all, any of y'all Christians, Catholics that are in this class, watching this video, you understand, you learn more about this Bible. You've learned more, period. Just in the 66 minutes that we've had this class, that we've been live, than you've learned in your entire church-going career. You understand? I'm saying that boldly because I know that they don't teach nothing. I've been to one Catholic mass, man. I damn near don't even count it because I slept. That was so doggone boring. I believe they said he was reading the Bible. All I heard was, like a monotone, sleeper. You understand? Like, man, it was ridiculous. And then, of course, handful of church going here and there, growing up, I've never learned anything. And I was always that kid too, that when I went to church, or I was around, because my mother's side, I didn't even say this every class. We get talking about, Christians and whatnot. So it was every class. My mother's side, they Mormons, right? I remember growing up, man, I was the only one when they would take me to church or I was around them, period. I always had questions. Like, man, makes sense to this. Why does God say that he loved me unconditionally, but yet he'll make me burn in heaven? Well, I'm going to say my slave name. I almost get it. Y'all almost got it out of me. Y'all clever. Crafty counsel. I'm like, well, maybe you should pray about it. We'll all pray about it, and we'll see if the Lord, if God will give us an answer when we go to sleep tonight. Man, and to be honest, it was because of stuff like that is why when I became a teenager, I wanted to associate with Christianity. I wanted to associate with Catholicism. I was like, man, I'm agnostic. Like, I believe there's a higher power. I just don't believe none of the BS that y'all talking about. Because there's so many contradictions. Like, it just don't make no freaking sense. Makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. Like, all right. But of course, it made sense when I came into the truth. As I want to be. It's like, Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shai for even having, to the Lord for even having, the water, like the water Yahweh Yahweh Shai for even having mercy on me, for me to even have this opportunity to come into this truth. But man, who knows where I would be? I was doing whatever the hell I wanted. Because again, I ain't believe in a higher. I ain't believe in no morality of a religion, because it all contradicted. You understand? It all contradicted itself. But then I learned about this Bible, and I saw that the Bible doesn't contradict itself. We've just been lied to about the Bible. Changed the game. Completely changed the game. All right. So this is the book of Job, chapter 30, verse 30. My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat. Man, this is now this is Job. Did anybody know that Job was actually a black man? Does the Christian church talk about you know, how Job was a black man, I do remember them trying to teach a lesson just about the faith that Job had, because he just had so much goodness in him, and whatever the hell that Christian pastor was saying. You understand? Sure as hell taught about Job, but didn't really go in about the importance of Job, the real significance of Job. And one of those significant things about Job is that Job is a so-called black man. He is black. You understand? Just like Christ, just like the Most High, just like the angels. You understand? If you see there's a bit of an ongoing pattern, Most High is black, the angels is black, Yahweh is black. Now we hitting on Job being black. Let's see who else we find out is black. I mean, hey, if y'all didn't know, I'm black. Not actually not trying to be funny, but it is what it is. Right? All right, we're gonna drop that. Now we're going to jump back into the book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 1. I remember talking about this with my dad, this verse right here, because my dad was trying to tell me about how, he wasn't too fond of the N-word and whatnot. Respectfully so, I get it. But he was asking me knowing what the answer to the question was, because he even said it. He was like, you be saying the N, you be saying nigga. I know you do, but do you? I even asked the question, you just don't answer it. But anyway, so like I took that opportunity to even like show him, like, you do know that word is biblical, because he tried to like ask me, why use that word? I mean, white folk, they use that to oppress us and use that against us to undermine us. But you do realize that nigga and nigger is like that's biblical. Like it's in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? And I remember when I showed him this, took him straight to the book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 1. He was just like, man, damn. It's like, I know I kind of went into the story before I read it, but I had to give y'all a new type of sidebar. Instead of doing verse then sidebar, I'm going to do sidebar and then verse. Just kind of mix it up, keep y'all on your toes in my class, make sure that everybody's awake. You know what I'm saying? But not. All right, so this is the book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger, and Lucius and Cyrene and Manaen, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch, and Saul. Now again, the word Niger is in the Bible. And it was called Niger. Now, of course, in the ISUPK, we look everything up, as you saw earlier. I looked up the word, what was it? Language, right? Just to show y'all. Now we're going to look up the word Niger, right? We're going to get the definition of Niger and see what it even means biblically, right? Let's see. So Niger, black. That means black. We was called black. Right here it says, now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger. They was called black. I mean, are we starting to catch on now? That even in the New Testament, at one of our churches in Antioch, which lets you know this was something that was risen up by Yahweh Mashiach, right? That was risen up by his 12 disciples, by Yahushua and the 12 disciples. You understand? They were being called black. And this is out of the Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary, page 399. The word Niger reads black, or a surname of Simeon, one of the 5 prophets and teachers of the church at Antioch, who were led of the Lord to send forth Paul and Barnabas on the first missionary journey. You understand? The surname, it was used as a surname, and it was also a way of calling us black. Man, us being called a nigger is biblical. Us being called black is biblical. You understand? Y'all gotta y'all. I pray that y'all do understand. I pray that y'all do. Now, that's also not the, I didn't pull that with my dad to basically tell him, oh, now you should just take pride in the fact that, we call each other niggas and niggers and stuff like that. Like, that wasn't the point. The point was to bring him a little bit more at ease to just people saying nigga in the first place, but also, to edify him on the fact that it wasn't the so-called white man here in America calling us niggers to undermine us. Man, it's all the way back to biblical times that they've been calling us niggers. You understand? Which should also further instill the fact that if you're being called a nigger today, you were being called a nigger yesterday. And what I mean is, man, actually, you know what? We're going to hold that revelation real quick. We're going to go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1. Wait, is it 1? Yeah. Yeah. The book of Ecclesiastes. We're just going to read it instead of me talk about it. That way I don't get too sidetracked. You know what I'm saying? And that way I can also teach y'all a little something, right? That is what class is for, right? I mean, saliva. There it is. Ecclesiastes. That is what class is for, right? Y'all come into these classes, right? Y'all watch these classes, these videos to learn something, right? So let's see if I can learn something. All right. Oh man, I just lost. There it is. Get back and learn something. It's only target. All right. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. So if you was getting called a nigger today, you was getting called a nigger yesterday. You have been called a nigger every single time that you walk the earth. You understand that? You have been called some variation of nigger, Niger, what have you, every single time that we've walked the earth, so-called Black, Hispanic, and First Nation man and woman. You understand? Because like it says, the thing that has been, it is that shall be. So the thing that was, the thing that hath been, meaning the thing that was here back in history, right? It is that shall be. So it will be it again. Or you were a woman then, you will be a woman now. You understand? You will always be a woman. You understand? This is actually the book of Ecclesiastes 1 through 10. Like that's kind of my go-to chapter and verses when going in about regeneration. You understand? Because for those of y'all that don't know, you understand, regeneration is real, man. This isn't the first time that you walk earth, just in this flesh, just only with these eyes that you are currently using. You understand that you are, what you see now, like, man, that's new. Vapor. And it just gets returned to the dust just to be, reprocessed all over again. But you understand? This flesh of yours, like, it's new to you. All right? That's new to you. But other than that, man, this ain't the first. This ain't the first time that you walked this earth, right? The thing that have been, so you had been before. It is that which shall be. You shall be again. So you're present now. You had been before, and you shall be again in the future. You understand? And that which is done is that which shall be done. So the things that had happened before that are happening now will happen again. You understand? And there is no new thing under the sun. That's just to further wrap up what we just read in Ecclesiastes 1:9. Up until the time that Christ returns to the earth and takes over rulership, sits in his throne to rule over this earth, all these things will just be rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. You understand? We won't do all these same things. And you can find out what all has been done all throughout history in this Bible. You understand? All of it can be found in this Bible, what has been happening time and time and time again. You understand? Which goes alongside with you as a black man, you as a Hispanic man, you as a First Nation man, and of course women as well. You being called a nigger, a savage, a wetback, and spit, all of these derogatory terms that everybody uses against us because they hate us, because they ain't us. Man, it's always been this from the beginning of time, from the beginning of man. It's always been this. It's always been this way, and it always will be this way until Christ returns. And that's when the cycle ends. And then we instill a new heaven and a new earth under the rulership of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, where, he's going to rule with an iron fist and make sure that ain't nobody fall from the doggone law, statutes, and commandments. Punishable by death. You understand? So, and that was kind of the point that I had with bringing out the book of Acts chapter 13 and 1, with my father, because, Lord allowed it ain't too much longer, but he's still in the world trying to get him to come into the truth. But you get what I'm saying? Little edifications like that is what our people need. You understand? Because you know what? That was something that he didn't know. And now that he's able to learn a little bit about himself and the fact that, this is biblical. We've been called a nigger throughout, all this time. Lets me know that, hey, maybe what my son is trying to show me is correct. That we are God's chosen people. That God's chosen people are, the so-called Negroes. That I am, as a so-called Negro, I do come from the house of Judah. Right? He'll actually understand that for himself and then instill that understanding for his life. You understand? All right. So now we're going to drop that. We're going to go to the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 9. And this is written in red, which means Yahweh Shai Mashiach is speaking. These are his words, right? Book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. You understand? Now, this is Christ. This is Christ speaking. Like I said, man, he understands our trials and tribulations. He's letting you know, man, I know what you are going through. I know you believe that you're poor. I know you believe that you have nothing. I know that everything is going against you. You feel like everything is just completely against you, right? For you to just have absolutely nothing. Then he follows up with a little bit of words of encouragement. But thou art rich. Man. You are rich. You understand? And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. He's letting you know that Christ himself is letting you know that there are people out there that are saying that they are Jews, they are Jewish. They're calling themselves Jews. They are calling them the real people of the Bible, but they're not. They're actually the synagogue of Satan. You understand? They are the church, the gathering, the people of Satan. You understand? Christ is letting us know that in the book of Revelation, chapter 2, that, hey, man, I know these things. He is aware. Now, with him being aware, that should also put a little bit should put your mind at ease to some extent, Black, Hispanic, First Nation, man and woman. You understand? Knowing that he recognizes that means that it will be dealt with when he returns to earth. You understand? Because mind you as well, for those of y'all that did not know, Christ is not coming to, kumbaya. Christ is not returning for us to go, dancing hand in hand throughout the prairies and, through the tall grass and, and sunflowers, and daisies, and everywhere we go, we just see beautiful rainbows and butterflies. You understand? He's coming to swing that sword and chop and off with their heads. You understand? He is coming to spill blood. And part of that reason is exact everything we just read in verse 9. He says, I know thy works and tribulation and poverty. See, I know your works. I know you're trying to do what what you can to build this kingdom. I know your tribulation going through it, that everything is going against you. You understand? And of course, your poverty, where you ain't got no money to do, to actually build this nation. It's difficult, but you are rich. But thou art rich. You understand? He's saying that he recognizes all of this, and that's that right there. Boom! You can set that to the side real quick. That's one reason why he's coming back, to swing that sword and off with their heads. You understand? And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. That's another reason why he is returning to swing that sword and off with their heads. You understand? Because he's saying that he recognizes that there are people out there that is stolen your identity. That you, Black, Hispanic, and First Nation men and women, the so-called Negro in specific, technically, because Jew is short for Judah, but you are the Jews. You understand? You are the Israelites. You are the people that everybody else is trying to steal the identity of. Only Esau has been able to hold on to the identity, so to speak, to actually claim it for themselves for a short time. And Christ says that he knows of them. He is aware of them. That's why Christ is returning the way that he is returning, with that bloodshed that he is going to shed. You understand? Okay. All right. So now we're going to drop that. We're going to go to the book of Revelation. Wait, let me see if I want to go to that one first or this one first. Let me see. Okay. You know what? Yeah, we'll read this one first. All right. So look, we're just gonna drop down to verse 18. So the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 18, right? And again, this is still written in red. All right. The book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 18. And unto the angel of the church in Thyatira, Salaki, I butchered that. Salaki. Right. These things saith the Son of God, who hath his eyes like unto a flame of fire, and his feet are like fine brass. Again, it's being added to it again. He's even letting me know, man, my feet, our feet is like unto fine brass. You understand? His feet is like unto fine brass. Now we're going to skip over to the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 9. All right. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Just real quick, can anybody tell me the significant one significant thing about reading Revelation 3 and 9 from what we had just read right there, especially after reading, Revelation 2 and 18? Something that should really stand out, especially since we're talking about color in the scriptures. Let's see if anybody can tell me real quick. Give you a few moments just to see if anybody come up with an answer. All right. I don't look like anybody's going to take a stab at it. No sweat. The one thing that y'all should see, you should be able to see is, first of all, verse 2 and 18, it's talking about how, again, Christ's feet being like unto fine brass. And it's so-called Negro, it's black men and women. When they come to worship when they come to worship us at our feet, what is the one thing that they will see? Now, mind you, fake Jews is a so-called white man, right? The Ashkenazi Jew, or however you say it, really doesn't matter. I mean, they fake anyways, right? And it's so-called white folk. And when time comes, you understand? When time comes, when the Hawashai returns, and they gotta worship the true Jews at their feet, all they're gonna be looking at is black feet. You understand? You know how beautiful that is? You know how beautiful that is to just think that the only thing that they get to see is these black feet right before they smack the hell out of them in the face. It's like, can't wait. Can't wait. You understand? After all that line saying that they are on top, that they, that they are the ones, that they are the chosen ones. You understand? All of that. And they got their foot on our necks. You got some white foot, nasty, crusty ass, it's the sandpaper freaking power drill to sand down their crusty ass, nasty, skin cancer having ass feet. You understand? Just flaky as hell. You can't turn on the fan because you're gonna watch all these skin particles and all of it. like white. I saw a couple videos of old white folk today. And it brought back memories, man. They just nasty. Like, they always so flaky. They think because they white, they don't realize that they need lotion still, so they just flake away. It's crazy, right? You know what I'm saying? After all of that time, they got their white foot on the back of our necks. When the time really comes, the time that we all really looking forward to, you understand, which is the return of the Hawashai Mashiach, when our oppression finally ends. You understand? That time, those people that have their foot on our necks, they have to sit there and worship black feet. You understand? They have, and mind you, them black feet gonna be on the back of their neck. Mine gonna be on their head, man. I mean, don't tell nobody, but I've been secretly, purposely gaining weight because I believe Christ might be on his way real soon with all these, how the way the plagues are coming and whatnot. Which Lord allowed, if he sees me fit to get that crown, and all this weight will be put on, not in vain. Man, that's gonna be a heavy ass foot on the back of their neck. And y'all see them fake Jews, man. They some skinny ass mother. They skinny. They little fragile ass necks. I'm gonna put my little fat ass foot on the back of their neck, and it better not break, because it breaks, man. We'll come back together and we'll do it again. You know, him and his brother. You understand? 100 pounds. Nah, come on, sis. Right? All right. Looks hot in here. All right. So now we're gonna drop that now. We're gonna go to the I'm posting that on the everybody gonna see that. Look at this. Is this a brother? Is this a sister? I mean, I can't. So like I can't really see. But man, look at this sister said. She said, "Salakia, I once walked into a Parmesan cheese factory, and to my surprise, it was just a pedicure salon for crackers." That's funny as hell. Oh, that's funny. But you know what? I ain't ever going to Olive Garden again. If they ask me, "Oh, you want Parmesan cheese?" Nope. That's not what I said. Nope. Oh, and it's all thanks to you, Blackie. That was like I really can't see if you were brother or sister, so do please forgive me, but man, that's I can't have Parmesan cheese now. But now I'm gonna be thinking of that. Man, this is Karen or Trevor's heel shavings. Because you know they're trying to dilute everything and cut back on saving because supposedly we got a food shortage. They ain't gonna have no Parmesan cheese shortage, and now we know why. Yeah, that's funny. All right, going to the book of Genesis, chapter 42 and verse 8. All right. Oh, hold on. So like, is it 42 and 8? Let me see where. Let me make sure. No. I'm gonna put in the wrong one. Salakia. All right, we're gonna skip over that Salakia. Should be able to pick back up on it. Look at Exodus chapter 2 and verse 19. Okay. All right. This is the book of Exodus chapter 2 and verse 19.
Oh, Shalom, little Christ. Still trooper? Come out of mine. Are you an officer? Are you an officer like me? So what's going on, Warrior, man? It's good to see you in the class, huh? All right. The book of Exodus chapter 2 and verse 19. And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us and watered the flock. You understand? And he said unto his daughters, and where is he? Why is it that ye have left the man? Call him, that he may eat. And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses Zipporah, his daughter. You understand? Point being right here, all right? First of all, they mistook Moses for being an Egyptian. What do we all know Egyptians look like? Right? Still true. All right, no sweat, no sweat. What do we all know that true? I was about to say troopers. What do we all know that Egyptians look like? The so-called Africans look like, and Hamites. They black, they dark, right? So that's, that's part of the reason why we confuse our own, just like in the biblical times, just like today, with Africans. We mix up our own with Africans. You understand? Now, mind you, this brother right here followed the law, he followed our customs. All right? He followed them. And he ended up giving his daughter unto Moses. Okay? Which lets you know that he realized that Moses was not an Egyptian, even though that Moses was black. Right? So now we can throw all them movie DVDs and shows out the doggone window that's got depictions of, Moses being white. You understand? Right? Like, I'm almost tempted to ask my mother for one of her books of Mormons, because in their book of Mormons, they've got like little, they've got paintings of like the wars of the, with the Israelite armies where they're all white, picture of Moses, picture of Christ. Like, there's a bunch of pictures of just people in the Bible. And they'll tell you, like David and the Goliath, white. You understand? Just all these people throughout that are, stories in the Bible. They took the stories, put it into the Book of Mormon, and just painted them all white. But yet, if Moses was white, how did he get mistaken for a stinking ass Hamite? How did he get mistaken for a stank ass African? What was it? Because he was a white boy walking around with a flock of flies sitting on his eyes, and he was just like, well, I don't see no problem. I don't see anything wrong. Because we know who do that, man. That's their goddamn best friends. I'm surprised. I wouldn't be surprised to come to find out that they got little string leashes attached to the flies so that they can walk them around and whatnot. It's lucky. You understand? But the point is that Moses is black. Moses is a black man. You understand? So now, we got over the Most High being black, gone over Yahushua being black, went over King Solomon being black, Job being black. Now we just hit Moses being black. You understand? We got I should take us to Genesis 25 and 25 so that y'all can see that, Jacob, the father of the 12 tribes of Israel, he is black. You understand? Acts 13 and 1, the brothers that was at the church of Antioch, they are black. So where do we get this messed up conception in the Catholic churches? Where did things get twisted up for us to see, or for us to interpret the people of the Bible being anything else but black men? I'll wait. It kind of goes alongside with how people love to have this stupid debate. I've been seeing it nonstop lately. on Facebook about Ruth being a Moabite because it says that she's Moabite-ish, right? They're so convinced they just want Ruth to be Asian because what is one fetish for women that a lot of black men have? If it's not white women, it's Asian women. You understand? They just want the brothers want to sit there and just argue that Ruth is actually an Asian woman, a Moabite woman, is because they got an Asian fetish. That's it. I'm simplifying it right there for you because what she really was is a black woman. She is an Israelite. You understand? That brother was very much not exactly. No, exactly. The brother was mistaken because he was a dark brother. And then mind you as well, hell, you say the whitewash it, but the crazy, like, did the whitewashing happen when the Lord told Moses to put his hand on his breast, then take it out, and then boom, his hand was whitewashed? And then they just stopped reading the Bible? Is that how it happened? And then from there on, Moses was just white, but because they didn't think to read on to see him put his hand back on his bosom and then bring it back out, and then boom, his hand was returned back to his normal state, the normal skin color that it was before. Being black, mistakenly able to be mistaken for as a stinking ass African. The Bible even says, and I'm just going to paraphrase, we're not going to pull it because we are running up on the time. You know, the Bible also says that he made us similar to the Egyptians, but we are to be, separate from them. We are not the same, but we similar. There's some similar qualities. It sure the hell isn't the fact that, the black man has got blue eyes. I got blue eyes. Genetics is fine. You understand? We don't get mixed up with so-called Africans because all of our people have blonde hair and blue eyes and red necks. You understand? That's one thing I ain't got, red neck. But, my Irish change color. And I got crazy hair. But it's okay. I know who I am. Whether you do or not. Whether you know who I am or not, I know who I am. That's all that matters, right? All right. But y'all get what my point is? Y'all get what my point is? Man, the people in this Bible are black. All right? The God of this Bible is black. The king of this Bible is black. And the king's people are black. The God's people are black. The people of the God of this Bible are black. Let me make sure I say that right. It's black. All right? Moving on. Leviticus chapter 13, verse 30. Let's see what we got here. Might go ahead and end it here. Let's see. No, we won't. We'll skip that one. Let's go to 38. From there, also okay, yeah, we'll read that real quick. We'll go to the book of Leviticus, chapter 13, verse 38. All right, this is the book of Leviticus, chapter 13, verse 38. If a man also or a woman have in the skin of their flesh bright spots, even white bright spots. You ever seen a white person with bright white spots? I haven't. I've seen them have bright red spots. I've seen them have that when like their version of is it vitiligo? Right? Because vitiligo for a brown skinned person, they have brown skin and then little splotches of white, which I believe actually I'm not even gonna say. I'm going to actually inquire about this my damn self. So like you. Just to get further, whatchamacallit on this. 13 and 38. So like you. This right here, you know, vitiligo is brown, and then it's a bright white spot just wherever the vitiligo is on their body, right? When so-called white people have it, they are all white, and then it's a big old bright red spot where it's at. You understand? Let me write this down where we leave off at, because we'll finish these last couple in the next class with the next topic. All right. We're going to go ahead and cut it off right there. Until next time. You understand? I'm Precinct Officer 500 Rock out here in Las Vegas. You understand? This is the ISUPK Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge and the community in Hana. Understand? Y'all make sure that y'all subscribe to our ISUPK Nevada YouTube page. Make sure you hit the little bell so that you get all of our updates for any content that we come out with. You understand? We're always doing all sorts of, we're always doing all types of interviews, classes. You understand? And also make sure that you go onto our Facebook and like our page, ISUPK Las Vegas. You understand? And with that, shalom. Shalom Yahweh Shemi Al-Shai Brakatham to the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shemar Hilakub by Shemi Al-Shai to the sisters. And with that, class dismissed.